Hey everyone, welcome to another Bob's Watches Rolex buying guide. In this video, we're talking all about the Rolex GMT-Master and highlighting some of the key features about this iconic collection of travel watches. Also, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on all of the latest video content. First released in 1955, the Rolex GMT-Master was created to meet the request of Pan Am Airlines, who asked for a multi-time zone watch that its pilots and crews could use to help keep track of time on intercontinental flights. Rolex GMT watches are often immediately identifiable by their bicolored bezels, and the very first model was fitted with one that was half red and half blue. However, Rolex has also offered versions of the GMT with solid colored bezels throughout its history. Despite this, the bicolor bezel has become a signature design feature of Rolex GMT-Master watches, and today, every Rolex GMT-Master II is fitted with a split color bezel. By adding an additional 24-hour hand to the dial and a rotating 24-hour bezel, the Rolex GMT-Master was able to simultaneously display two different time zones. In 1982, Rolex rolled out a new generation of the GMT in the form of the GMT-Master II. While the original GMT-Master was capable of displaying two different time zones, the GMT-Master II featured independently adjustable hour hands, enabling it to track an additional third time zone with its bezel. Rolex offered both the GMT-Master and the GMT-Master II alongside each other for a number of years. However, by the end of the 1990s, the original GMT had been discontinued entirely, and today, only the GMT-Master II remains part of Rolex's catalog. Throughout its history, the Rolex GMT-Master has existed in 8 different generations, and prices can range from under $10,000 to well over 6 figures. The most expensive Rolex GMT-Master watches are those from the first generation. Produced between 1955 and 1959 under the 6542 reference number, these early examples are easily the most rare and collectible among all Rolex GMT watches, and they can be found with either stainless steel or solid gold cases. Additionally, as the first Rolex GMT was largely based on the design of the brand's existing turnograph, the reference 6542 features a 38mm case that lacks crown guards, which makes it immediately distinct from all later era GMT models. When the Rolex GMT-Master was first launched, it was fitted with a bezel insert crafted from Bakelite with glowing radium numerals embedded into it. However, Bakelite proved to be too fragile as a material, and the embedded radium numerals posed a health hazard due to their radiation levels, so Bakelite bezels were replaced by aluminum ones by the late 1950s. Prices for this generation start at around $40,000 and quickly increase from there into the 6-figure range, with the most expensive examples being those that still have their original Bakelite bezel inserts. By 1959, the Rolex GMT-Master was ready to take on a design entirely its own, leading Rolex to release the reference 1675. Although it offered more or less the same functionality as its predecessor, the new reference 1675 featured a larger 40mm case that now featured crown guards to offer better protection for the winding crown. Like its predecessor, this generation was offered in both stainless steel or yellow gold. However, a two-tone steel and gold model also joined the lineup, along with the option of an all-black bezel insert. This generation of GMT-Master watches remained part of Rolex's catalog until about 1980, and due to its long production run, an incredible amount of variation exists among this single reference. Just concerning the stainless steel model, you will find reference 1675 watches fitted with either gilt or matte dials, black or the red and blue Pepsi bezel inserts, large or small GMT hands, pointed or square crown guards, and oysters or jubilee bracelets. Due to this range of variation, prices for this generation can differ drastically. The most affordable examples can be picked up for just over $10,000, but prices can quickly shoot up to several times that simply due to the style of the case, dial, hands, and bezel that is fitted to the watch. The subsequent generation of GMT-Master watches appeared at the start of the 1980s in the form of the reference 16750. Offered alongside it were the two-tone reference 16753 and the solid gold reference 16758. This generation of Rolex GMT watches was initially debuted with matte dials. However, the design was later updated to gloss black dials with applied white gold markers around the mid-1980s. With that in mind, the matte dial variations of the stainless steel reference 16750 are less common than their gloss dial counterparts, and they are also typically worth more when it comes to the resale value. Despite the overall visual similarities between this generation and the previous one, the stainless steel reference 16750 and the two-tone reference 16753 are among the least expensive Rolex GMT watches currently available, with prices starting out just under $10,000 on the pre-owned market. In 1982, Rolex unveiled the first GMT-Master II with a reference 16760, marking a significant evolutionary step in the history of the collection. In addition to a new red and black Coke bezel option and an upgraded sapphire crystal, the movement used in the GMT-Master II offered increased functionality over the standard GMT model. By making the 12-hour and 24-hour hands independently adjustable, the new GMT-Master II was able to display 2 different time zones with just its hands, thus freeing up the rotating 24-hour bezel to display an additional 3rd time zone. Given that the first generation of the GMT-Master II existed only as a single reference in stainless steel, the price range for it is not nearly as vast as what can be found on other generations. This first iteration of the GMT-Master II is now considered to be rather collectible, with prices ranging between $12,000 and $20,000 on the open market, depending on the specific example and its overall condition. Although the GMT-Master II first debuted in 1982, Rolex still offered a version of the standard GMT-Master alongside it as a less expensive option during much of the 1980s and 90s. Around 1988, Rolex launched an updated version of the classic GMT-Master with the reference 16700. Like the new GMT-Master II, this generation was exclusively offered in stainless steel and featured a sapphire crystal with a gloss black dial fitted with applied white gold hour markers. However, unlike the GMT-Master II, the reference 16700 did not include a movement with independently adjustable hour hands, meaning that it retained the same functionality as the classic GMT-Master watch. By the end of the 1990s, Rolex discontinued the reference 16700, marking the end of the classic GMT-Master line, leaving only the GMT-Master II in the brand's catalog. Despite holding the distinction of being the only GMT-Master watch fitted with the sapphire crystal, the reference 16700 is among the most affordable Rolex GMT watches, with prices starting out at just under $10,000. By the end of the 1980s, Rolex also unveiled a new GMT-Master II in the form of the reference 16710. Largely identical to the inaugural GMT-Master II, the follow-up generation offered a new and improved movement but identical functionality. However, while the reference 16760 was exclusively crafted from stainless steel and fitted with the red and black Coke bezel insert, the new reference 16710 offered the option of either the red and blue Pepsi, the red and black Coke, or the all-black GMT bezel inserts. Additionally, this generation was also available in both two-tone and solid 18-karat yellow gold configurations in the form of references 16713 and 16718 respectively. This generation of the GMT-Master II remained in production for nearly 20 years and marked the final evolution of the Rolex GMT watches with aluminum bezels. Due to its long production run, a fair amount of variation can also be found within this generation as it spanned the transitions from tritium to luminova and from holes to no holes cases. With that in mind, pricing for this generation of the stainless steel Rolex GMT-Master II is relatively close-knit, with most examples selling between $10,000 and $16,000 on the secondary market. Naturally, the solid 18-karat yellow gold examples from this generation are the most expensive, with most examples priced between $20,000 and $30,000. However, the two-tone version costs roughly the same as the stainless steel model from this generation, despite its use of precious metals. To celebrate the 50th anniversary of the GMT collection in 2005, Rolex unveiled a new generation of GMT-Master II watches. First appearing in the form of a solid 18-karat gold yellow reference 116718LN, this new generation of Rolex GMT-Master II watches featured a 40mm super case with noticeably thicker lugs and crown guards. Additionally, while previous versions of the GMT-Master II all featured anodized aluminum bezel, this new generation offered bezel inserts crafted from Rolex's proprietary Cerachrome ceramic material. Representing a significant visual update, this generation of GMT-Master II watches was also offered in a number of different configurations. Alongside the solid yellow gold model, there was a two-tone reference 116713, the stainless steel reference 116710, and the 18-karat white gold reference 116719. Additionally, while the stainless steel, yellow gold, and two-tone models were only offered with all-black bezel inserts, the white gold model was fitted with a bicolor red and blue Pepsi bezel, now crafted from Rolex's Cerachrome material. In 2013, an additional stainless steel model joined the line under the reference number 116710BLNR. While the standard reference 116710LN featured a solid black bezel, the new edition featured a half-black, half-blue ceramic insert and consequently picked up the Batman nickname among collectors. Prices for this generation of the ceramic GMT-Master II can vary drastically, depending on the materials and the bezel color of the watch. The solid gold models are easily the most expensive from this series, and prices range between $25,000 and $45,000, with the white gold Pepsi model being the most expensive. However, there exists a significant price difference between the reference 116710LN with its all-black bezel and the reference 116710BLNR with its black and blue Batman bezel on the secondary market. While prices for the all-black model start out at around $10,000, the Batman from this generation will cost an average of several $1,000s more despite offering identical functionality. In 2018, Rolex launched yet another generation of the ceramic bezel GMT-Master II, and while the previous generation ushered in a new aesthetic, the greatest update to accompany the latest generation is an all-new movement. Based around Rolex's new generation caliber 3285 movement, the updated GMT-Master II line brought a number of key updates to the collection. Previously, the iconic red and blue Pepsi insert was only available on the solid 18-karat white gold model. However, a stainless steel version was unveiled in 2018 in the form of reference 126710 BLRO, but this time it was fitted with the Jubilee bracelet rather than the classic oyster. Additionally, Rolex's proprietary 18-karat Ever Rose Gold replaced yellow gold through the collection in both two-tone reference 126711 CHNR and the solid gold reference 126715 CHNR models. Furthermore, the classic root beer bezel returned on the new two-tone and Ever Rose models. However, instead of being gold and brown aluminum, it was now black and brown Cerachrome. Lastly, while the stainless steel GMT-Master II watches from this generation are exclusively fitted with Jubilee bracelets, the two-tone and solid gold models are only offered with oyster bracelets. To further separate the white gold Pepsi GMT from the new stainless steel version, the white gold model is now fitted with the blue dial, while the stainless steel version receives a black dial. Retail pricing for the current Rolex GMT-Master II collection starts out at $9,700 for the stainless steel models and extends all the way up to $39,900 for the 18-karat white gold Pepsi model fitted with a meteorite dial. With that in mind, it's virtually impossible to purchase the current stainless steel Rolex GMT-Master II at a retail level. Most dealers have a multi-year waiting list for the GMT, and due to the demand exceeding supply, second-hand prices for this model typically sit between $15,000 and $20,000 on the open market. Additionally, while most precious metal Rolex watches can be often found at a discount on the pre-owned market, the current production gold and two-tone GMT-Master II models retain their value incredibly well. The white gold Pepsi model even sells for a slight premium above its brand new retail price on the secondary market, with many examples trading hands for anywhere between $40,000 and $45,000. Widely considered to be one of the most desirable watches in existence, the Rolex GMT has been a constant offering in Rolex's catalog for more than half a century. Despite being a purpose-built timepiece designed for pilots and airline crews, the Rolex GMT-Master has evolved into the ultimate luxury travel watch and now represents a true icon within the luxury watch industry. Regardless of the specific model you choose or whether you opt for a modern or vintage example, all Rolex GMT watches feature the collection's iconic design and are crafted to the same exacting standards that have served as the foundation of Rolex brand for over a century. For more information on Rolex's original multi-time zone pilot's watch, be sure to check out our Rolex GMT-Master buying guide, and you can find the link for that in the description below. Thanks for watching our video on the Rolex GMT-Master collection. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on all the latest video content.